Yeah, I'm a little late to the party. Let's just get into it. So, as you can see by the title, I finally watched K-pop Demon Hunters, and boy, was I in for a surprise. Before you come at me in the comments, my watch list is crazy long. So many movies, anime, and TV shows that I really need to watch. I haven't even made it through season 2 of Solo Leveling, but let's stick with the movie for now. And just so you know, I'll try to be as spoiler free as possible, but here's your warning. Okay, first off, maybe a little biased here, but you know what they say about the best things that come in threes. And well, they remind me of most girl trios, like the Powerpuff Girls, the Clammy Trio from Amphibia, but mostly they remind me of Totally Spies. In fact, there are some interesting parallels between the Huntrix girls and Totally Spies. For example, is that in the early days before the show was greenlit, the girls would be musicians as their cover while they were secretly spies. In fact, the first episode, A Thing for Musicians, was heavily inspired by this concept. Another is that Zoe and Alex are so very much alike. And well, so are Sam and Rumi. Though Clover and Mira aren't really alike at all, aside from, liking the color red. But aside from this, I'm gonna go over specifics. The animation is amazing, especially in cases like the action. It kind of reminds me of the fighting scenes from X-Men 97. They also utilize this well in comedic terms as well. I love all the emoji and chibi forms the girls take on. They are so extra, and I kinda wish I could do this in real life. And the songs. Oh, the songs are beyond amazing. My personal favorite is the airplane song, How It's Done. But Golden is definitely my number two. These two have me on my feet for hours at a time. And the story. The story is so ludicrous, but at the same time, it is hard to fight the logic. A trio of pop stars are fighting the demons on two fronts. First, using their music to make people feel good and happy so the demons can't get to them, and literally as warriors. So the king of demons, Guima, I think that's how you pronounce the name, sorry, decides to fight fire with fire by putting together a boy band to fight the girls on their own stage. And yeah, this entire band is a self aware joke about how impossibly perfect the boys are. They are borrowing a lot of tropes from Japanese and Korean pop bands, but it's hard to deny some of our own American bands too. Then we get to Genu. At first, he's built up to be the perfect, unobtainable guy that I'm sure lots of girls have dreamed up reading through their manga collections. But when we get to know him more, he's surprisingly realistic. He can be clumsy, he can be approachable, he can be relatable. I'll be honest here, I rolled my eyes a little when they tried to do the enemies to lovers trope with Rumi and Genu, but at the same time, I like how they did things. Yes, yes, people ship them, fans agree they have good chemistry, both in world and out world. But even more importantly, the two understand each other. They are empathetic to each other. So while it's not outright stated that they like each other, and it's heavily implied that they are, I like this open ending regarding their relationship that can go either way. Honestly, Genu and Rumi's relationship reminds me a bit of Luffy and the Gorgon sisters, especially during the bathhouse fight. Genu sees Rumi's marks and he goes out of his way to help her, no different than Luffy helping keeping the Gorgon sisters keep their secret. And since we're there, let's talk about her now. Okay, I gotta talk about Rumi. She is my girl. I definitely relate to her on so many levels. That I'm a workaholic, and I'm always thinking about what comes next, the next video, the next book, the next activity. And this can lead to feelings and not feeling good enough, and that your efforts are never enough, that your efforts can be nothing if you allow them to be. Well, for Rumi, it's a little more important than my situation. If they seal away demons from this world, then she'll feel comfortable enough to share that she's half demon with Zoe and Mira. If we ever do get a sequel or a series, I want to know more about the girls and their backstories. Well, we want to see more about Rumi and her relationship with Cecile. In hindsight, Cecile might have taken Rumi in, but it feels more like it's out of obligation instead of genuine care like a parent. Celine instilled the rules in Rumi of keeping her patterns hidden. Yes, she did this to protect her, but it also made her keep her distance from Mira and Zoe. Rumi is there in person, but she's not there in spirit because she's scared to death to let her walls down around the two closest people in her life. All those lyrics about hating demons are now contradicting Rumi's views, as she is half demon, and thanks to her interactions with Genu, she sees him in a different light too. Granted, the entire movie was Rumi's story. Personally, I would love to more about all the girls, not just Rumi. Zoe's time in America, where she may have been seen as an outsider. Mira's family, where she was the black sheep of her family. I especially love to know more about Rumi's parents and her situation, her mother a demon hunter, and her father a demon. We need the details. They gave us so much lore in such a Quentin Tarantino style, and this makes us want to know all the more about it. In fact, there are so many directions they could go if this ever did get another installment. Personally, I'd love to know the origins of the demon hunters. Is it a generational thing like the Queen of Muni from Star Versus? And the mystery solving gang from Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated, where we get to see their origins first place and what they ultimately grew to be. Another thing that I love is the sense of community the fandom has. In the modern day, we can all relate to this. That we all have that one piece of media where everyone can feel welcomed, whether it's movies, superheroes, anime, or in this case, music. But there's also some sub narratives regarding fandom in general, that people are sometimes hopeless when it comes to something new and something interesting, that sometimes it's a fad or a phase people go through, but it's not the same thing as people choosing one fandom over another, regardless of the outcome. The fans loved both the Huntrix girls and the Saja boys. Nobody ever chose one over another. For the fans, it was never a popularity. Just because you like one group better doesn't mean you don't appreciate the other group any less. The fans even welcomed the collabs they did together. Granted, for the girls, it's the literal end of the world if they fail to come out on top. But in closing thoughts, yes, it lives up to the hype. I especially love the girls and their friendship. They are quirky, lovable, and relatable. They're not perfect, nor should they be, and every time I see them together, I can't help but smile. Characters make or break a story, and I believe that Rumi, Mira, and Zoe live up to this perfectly. But these are just my thoughts. What are yours? Please feel free to share in the comments down below. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Hit like and subscribe if you like what you heard and you want to hear more. And please have yourself a good day.